Every so often, a game will come out and become a titan of the industry, something that other developers will chase and try to replicate, but often fail to capture the glory of. And Overwatch, back when it originally released anyway, was an example of such a monumental release. It changed the gaming industry forever, and some would say for worse. Today on Retro Dive, I took a jump back into Overwatch, now known as Overwatch 2, the fake sequel that never was, to see if it's still what it used to be. Now, I haven't played the game for something like 5 years, a very long amount of time, but it wasn't too hard to pick up and play. It's a shooter at the end of the day, and a very simple one control-wise at that. So I found myself understanding the flow of the game almost immediately. Some characters have more options than others, but at the end of the day, most people will have their main attack, 3 abilities, and an ultimate. Some will have an alternate attack, and some might have a variant of an ultimate I'm not sure of, but that is the core. And it's a team-based objective game, where you're trying to seize an objective of some sort before your enemies do. It's a well-tried formula, but Overwatch really heightened it due to its diverse collection of characters with interesting gameplay and the many different ways a team could be built together by mixing them with your squad. Now, I didn't go in this with a full squad, so it really was just playing in the quick lobby, but that's how most people are going to experience the game anyway, so I think it's a fair assessment. And in my time playing recently, I had an okay experience. I was playing with at least one person I knew, and we were just joking around whilst playing, making our own fun, as you do.
Did you behind me? I'll tell him!
But the game itself didn't provide anything particularly unique in the equation. What I did notice though was that my character, and I picked Reaper because I remember him being quite simple, was, well, just that. Simple. A little too simple. He only has 2 shotguns and a teleport, which the enemy can see and hear coming as soon as you turn it on, making it a really bad teleport. And then you've got this Wraith mode thing where you are invincible but you can be followed, so if you're not quick you're just going to get hunted down and killed, but that's fair because it's an invincible move. And then his ultimate, and I was joking the whole game that I was just going to teleport behind the enemy and unleash his ultimate spinning death attack, and I did this many times. Didn't really go my way. It only killed an unarmored diva. Every other time I used it, I'm pretty sure it just got stunned or otherwise cancelled and didn't have any effect at all. And that's where you start to realise that not all of these characters are created equally. There are vast power disparities in this game, and I'm not going to pretend to know them deeply, but they are definitely there, and even I could tell from picking up the game for the first time in a long time. Mercy is a character that stuck out a lot to me as someone that can really change the swing of a game, because when she's onto someone, she can keep them alive for ages, give them stronger attacks, and resurrect people if they die. She became a priority target pretty quickly into my play session. The missions you're doing aren't that much different from what I remember, and I have been following the news on Overwatch 2 over the years, so I've heard that it hasn't really added much. In fact, it's taken things away. One less player, one less tank on a team, and the PvE mode that was promised but never ever came out, and instead they just rehashed stuff from the original game that used to be seasonal events and pretended that was big content. Something that frustrated me a little bit, but not too much because I don't actually care, is that all the skins I had unlocked on my account when playing Overwatch 1 were gone when I signed in on Overwatch 2. I don't know if there was a limited time period to keep them or something like that, but they were all gone, and now I had the thrilling offer of just spending a lot of money to get them back. Of course, I didn't. But ultimately, the main thing that underscored my experience returning to Overwatch 2 was the way the game was handled. I played it on Steam this time, and the first session was able to take place. It's the footage you've been seeing, but afterwards I wasn't able to play the game ever again, and I ended up uninstalling it. Why? I don't know. The loading screen would just indefinitely play saying can't connect the server, connecting the server when I tried logging in on Steam. My theory is that the UI was really bad and it wouldn't let me sign out and sign back into my account to sort of remind the game I am in fact connected. The Steam version of the game at least just has a really flat UI. I suppose it's meant to look modern and simple and clean, but all it meant is it has no options to do anything at all once you've created your account. You just have to pray to the gods it will work, and it didn't work. So yeah, that was it. I only got to play the game for one session, because the next day when I tried to give it another go, I just couldn't get in, and I couldn't get in the day after that either. And I looked on Google, and a year ago at least, people were still having this issue on Steam. And I wasn't going to install the Blizzard launcher just to play Overwatch 2 one more time. That was terrible, and not a good way of growing your player base when new players seemingly face that at a semi-regular occurrence. As for the actual feel of the game when I was in, I wouldn't write home about it. There are plenty of other games out there that are just as worth the time, if not more, and Overwatch 2 seems to be on the decline. This whole game probably should have just been reverted back to the first game if they weren't going to commit to the single player content. And if for some reason they turn around and release single player content, it better be free, because it was supposed to be part of Overwatch 2 at the beginning anyway. So, Overwatch was once a great icon and now is a shell of its former self. At least that's my takeaway from it. What about yours? Do you still play the game? Do you get infuriated with the way it's been handled? Or have you long since moved on? I'll be interested to know in the comments down below. But that will bring this retro dive to a close. So I hope you enjoyed your stay here. This is the Mighty Mage, and I'll see you next time.